Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Brandon. Today we're going over how to make more money with Uber, and I've been driving for about 6-7 months now. I have close to 1,000 rides, and I have a 4.97 rating, and I do it full time right now. I started out part time, and where I live, it's more of seasonal. And I would say the biggest thing when it comes to making money with Uber, it's going to be an obvious one, but it's just logging in the hours. But more importantly, it's logging in the correct hours. So, for instance, I can go out at like 10 a.m. here and drive till 5 and probably make like 20 bucks because there's not a lot of traffic going on right then. But if I wake up at 4 and I go out at 4 and I drive till like 6 or 7, I could probably make $40-$50, and then I could start back up at dinner time and probably make another significant amount of money depending on how late I drive. And this is in our off season. In our season where we are, you can drive any time of day and pretty much kill it. So it's just learning your area, finding out what hours are needed. So why it's so busy at 4 a.m. here is because you got airport, and then you have, if it's a weekend, you got a lot of people who hooked up the night before and they want to kind of creep out by like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. So you get those people. You got people golfing here around 6 a.m. You have people who have car problems or things like that can't get to work. You got dealerships. So in the morning, you're killing it hard. Dies off right now, and then it starts back up later. Obviously, if you want to deal with the bars, go out 12 to whenever, and you can probably make a lot of money. Now, a lot of people have different opinions when it comes to the bar scene. A lot of people say drunk people tip more. From experience, it's not so much true. Yeah, I guess kind of, right? It just depends on the experience and how drunk they actually are. A lot of the time, drunk people are just happy and they're having a good time and they will tip you. Sometimes they just want to go home. They don't want to talk. You're probably not going to get a tip. So that leads me into my next kind of thing is learning your clients. What I mean by that is when they get in your car, have a couple key questions you ask in the beginning. Hey, how you doing tonight? If they just say good and don't ask back, that's kind of like your first strike. Okay, so we're going to downtown Palm Springs. Oh, yeah, okay. And they don't really like engage back. And then it's like, oh, okay, so you guys just down here visiting, you down here full time? Oh yeah, we're here full time. Okay, nice. Well, they're not really giving much back for you to work with. So sometimes then I'll just shut up and not continue to ask questions and be annoying unless I have to, and if it's about the ride or the drop off, anything like that. If they do get in the car and they are responsive, have a good arsenal of questions that you already know to ask them, or be really informational. If you live in a more, vacational area like myself, know which bars are popping, know which nightclubs, which restaurants, outdoor activities, just fun things for them to go do because they're really not from the area. Even locals, I've had locals be like, oh yeah, we're going to this Italian restaurant. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I haven't heard of it. Have you heard of this one? I'm like, yeah, I think this one's the best. Oh, really? Yeah. And then I take it to them, or they look up the menu and like, wow, that does seem really good. And then they go and they end up enjoying it, and I ended up getting a tip. Also, just be patient with your clients. When somebody says, hey, can you just wait a little bit longer outside? You're getting paid anyways. So more than likely, just you doing them a favor. If they want to stop somewhere, Uber does track, even if they don't put in the stop, they track how much you are driving. So you don't have to make a big deal about it. If they want to stop, let them stop, get some beer, typically what it is, and then take them back to their hotel, their house. And, I've been sometimes people can't do it and I go in and actually get it for them. I know that's a little more trusting your client, but I've been tipped, 20 bucks cash quite often from doing that. And, I don't know the regulations on that. I don't see why there would be anything wrong with it. Typically, the clients that can't do it are people who, have some form of injury, or they're in walkers or things like that. Also, just doing any favor for them will get you a tip. If they, like I said, if they're in a walker, get out, open the door, take their walker from them, put them in the trunk, and you'll be good to go. Typically, any extra step will give you a tip, and those tips do really add up, and that's how you're going to make way more profit than anything, because when it comes to rides are hit or miss, right? It's all about proximity, so you could be one street over from a good ride. And that's kind of the bummer, but when you get that ride, whether if it's a 3-minute, a 30-minute ride, you need to make the most of it. You need to make them have a good experience and try to get a tip. Because, that $3 ride, could be made a $7. And, you still only drove 5 minutes, and hey, that's way more profit for you. So I would say the biggest thing also when getting tips is try to keep your car like an office. Keep the outside and, more importantly, the inside always clean. Don't have trash. Always check after your rides if you're able to. I know sometimes you get back-to-back rides, but try your best to look back, clean it up, organize the mats, things like that. Keep it smelling fresh, keep it cold. If it's hot outside, keep it warm if it's cold outside. Ask them how the temperature is. Ask them if they want to listen to anything in particular. If they don't, have good music on. Don't have, something crazy. I always put on 80s music. Everybody knows 80s music. Everybody loves 80s music. So those are kind of my key things when it comes to just having the first impression is going to be key. Clean car, they get in, it smells good, it's refreshing, and they got good tunes on. A lot of the times people already know the music, so they're singing along, turn it up, they're having a good time. Other than that, just know the area. Like I said, obviously you want to know certain hours to drive, but you also want to know a certain clientele of each area. If I told you, do you want to drive in a way more high-end area, or you want to drive more in a lower end, you might say a higher end, but typically those people have a car, they have more going on, so they're more able to drive themselves, where if you go to a lower area, they may not have a car and they appreciate you more and things like that. But on the other end, those people, the higher end people, might tip more. So it's just learning your area, learning your clientele. I get a lot of repeat customers that know me, and they just don't tip, no matter how you make the experience for them and how you get to learn for them. Some people just don't believe in tipping. So, don't be discouraged if you don't get a tip. Don't be discouraged if you have downtime, because it's going to be a learning experience. There will be times that are slow. To get the most profit, I would say set up key locations that that are surrounded by people. So go somewhere where there's a couple hotels nearby and wait. I would wait 30, 45 minutes. If you don't get anything, then move on to another set spot that you have, because you don't want to continuously be driving. You're just burning gas, and it could just be a slow hour for you. With Uber, it is first come, first serve almost. It's kind of a luck-based thing, and you need to take that with a grain of salt, because you're not going to show up to a job and get paid a certain amount for these hours. You could show up and you could make $100 that hour, or you can make 10, and you have to be ready to have that fluctuation in your pay. And just know that some days you're going to hit it hard and some days you aren't. And when the weekend comes, you need to log those hours in. You need to log, 20, 30 hours in if possible, because that's when people go crazy, and that's when they need Uber. And I do live out here in Palm Springs, California, so I will do a video on the festivals, on the tenants, things like that, because you can screw up really bad and not have a good time, and it will not make you want to come back. I will do a video on the Uber debit card, on the new ranking system, because Uber just launched something actually 2 days ago that ranks you now, that gives you more perks. So, keep an eye out for those videos, and till the next one, guys. Thank you for watching. Later.